Hello everyone, this is Leo from the Monkeys Making This Place channel. Today we're going to be doing a voiceover for the gameplay instead of just the normal gameplay audio. I might cut in some clips if there's anything funny we say along the way. But we're playing Favrneel versus Gramgrace. This is the protagonist and antagonist from the Deer Days game, so we'll see how these turn out. I believe Cat gets to go first here. We did a high roll, so he's going to do first. We're just doing mulligans. I believe I mulligan 3 here, and Cat's going to mulligan his entire hand because he's got a lot of triggers in it and just squalid freaks, and that's not really great, so he's looking for a fresh new hand. And then we don't get to see his hand just yet, but I believe he has quite a few good cards in there. I know my hand is, I believe, only one trigger at this point. I mulligan mostly triggers back into the deck, but let's see how it goes. Down, and here we go. Let me start the game. Cat's gonna pitch a critical trigger here. Rides up, calls his starter, soul charges 1. Another crit, unfortunate, he's lost 2 triggers now. I'll discard a painkiller, ride up, draw for going second, and then I'm gonna call another painkiller to just draw some extra cards a little earlier. Yeah, I considered just attacking, then I realized, now let's force him to use more cards to guard. I get the heal trigger, doesn't do anything, but he puts him to 1, draw another card, draw my over trigger here, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? That'll help me guard Favrneel later on. So he goes to the grade 2, rides up, sucks the card into soul, calls a ling, checks top 2, gets draw trigger into soul. Yeah, he's having a real hard time here getting the triggers in or getting non-triggers, which is unfortunate, but he just goes swinging. I consider guarding, but then realize I need to CB for Blast Dark, so I just end up taking it, get a critical. Goes to my turn. I'm gonna discard a Favrneel here, which actually does end up biting me in the ass a little later because I can't find another, but this is why, because we hit another one off of Javelin and then I have to retire it to get Twin Drive. So now we've lost 2 Favrneels, and since I'm going second, that means as soon as I get to grade 3 I could do it, but I'm going to try and put it into soul so I can get it back with Lockday later on in the game. Obviously Drilling Angel doesn't hit because it rarely ever does, but you know, just in case, even if it did hit, I probably wouldn't have called it, simply because I don't want to lose another one calling it to rear guard. It needs to be called specifically to back row rear guard. So we're just going to go to combat, I think, here. Go to battle phase. Yep, swing with drilling. He takes it, gets a crit. Swing with Vanguard. I believe he does no pass because it's, or 1 to pass, excuse me, and I hit the crit. Puts him to 4, but he gets a heal trigger here, so he's gonna put that Time Jared into drop. Draws for turn, discards a heal trigger. So we've got quite a few triggers out of his deck. I believe 6 total triggers out of his deck, if I'm doing the math correctly. So quite a few, but I have to discard or retire my Drilling Angel because of Favreneel's skill. So he gets to put a card into soul and draw a card. And he's going to call another Ling. Gets 2 grade 3s, which is very good. Puts 1 into soul, the one that gives him Persona Ride. So currently his count is 3, 5, 8. So he needs 5 more to get the restand, but I believe he just goes, it's not worth committing, but he's going to try for it. He swings with these because he wants to soul charge some cards to get that 13. That way he can still do it if he gets lucky, but I know how this deck works, so I'm not going to allow him to do that because I can just take 1 damage here or 2, right? Get another critical trigger, so goes to my turn, draw for turn. I discard a heal trigger here. I realize I left my cards stacking to the side. Sometimes I just do that to keep track. But we counterblast 1, draw here, and then unfortunately I don't have another Favrneel, so I just have to call a grade 2 Drilling Angel and just put, I believe I put a painkiller here, just in case I can hit it, so I can draw some cards and hopefully get a Favrneel for next turn. But we whiff on the Drilling Angel, or the Painkiller Angel, unfortunately, which does suck, but what can you do? And then we are, I believe I just make quite a bit of a board here because I want to push damage. Alright, let's see. If I remember correctly, I call a Diffin. Toll Pass, returning the Javelin and the starter back to the right deck face up to check top 5. And I think I hit a Diffin off of this. Yes, I hit a Diffin, which is a very good card because it just gives +5 to your center attacking units, which, hey, changes the math just a little bit, which is pretty good. And then it can get some big power, but unfortunately I haven't really gotten an CB, and I did not want to allow him to get those grade 2 hits to get some extra soul, because I did not want to get a resetting Vanguard swing. Sure, it could not have happened, but it would have been incredibly likely. I mean, as we saw, his drive checks weren't anything spectacular, so he would have just gotten rid of 2 dots, so he could have hit me with some real triggers. Call the Cadwalla here, and then we go attacking, swinging with Drilling Angel first for 25 to his rear guards, because I'm just trying to get rid of them. And then we draw a card here, and then I swing Vanguard to Vanguard. I think he says no guard here. Again, I think I don't hit anything here, but he hits a draw trigger, which essentially means the rest of my units can't hit. But I swing at Cadwalla first, just because I want to use the ability to see if I can find myself a Favrneel for next turn. Right, doesn't hit obviously, but I Soul Blast 1, retire it, and then I look at top 3, and then I get a card. I whiff on getting a grade 2 or greater. I think they were all grade 1s. It was a Painkiller, a Locked, and a Blitz PG. So unfortunately I don't get to pick, but I do still get to draw a card, which is very good. So we're just going to draw here. I think I get a trigger off of this, which is unfortunate, but you know, what can you do? Draw a card. Then we swing with the Diffin, boosted by the Toll Pass at the rear guard, just to get rid of it as well. And he considers guarding, but he just lets it go instead. Goes to his turn. During the ride phase, because he did not ride, he gets to use the grade 3 from Soul, binding it, and discarding a card to activate Persona Ride. So his Vanguard's pretty big, and it's got a crit. I retire the Toll Pass because it's the main phase ability. He gets to put a card in his Soul and draw a card. Then he's calling a Time Jarrett to, again, put a card from hand into Soul to draw a card. That's a lot of what this deck does. He calls the Counter Charger, and then he calls another one of the Persona Ride units. And I think he goes attacking here. Yep, swings for 33k with the crit, and I say no guard. He gets nothing. I take the 2 damage. I've got a crit and a crit, so my Vanguard is at 33 now. I intercept so that he doesn't get to retire, and then he realizes I forgot to do the restand, so he just turns sideways. This was a very unfortunate turn for Cat. He messed up pretty bad. We were going to take it back, but he said no, if it's a misplay, we have to play it as it is. So we go on to my turn, and unfortunately here I get to, again, not call a Favrneel, and I got to call just a grade 1, but I do have the 2 Diffins, and I've got quite a bit of a board. And then I activate Chalice to get Persona Ride. He asks, hey, you should be allowed to do that, and I'm like, it's an order, I get to play whenever I want during the main phase. And he goes, oh yeah, that's right. But we just go attacking here. The lock day is 38 if I remember. Then he goes into Soul, draws me a card. Then I swing with Vanguard here for 33 because of the Persona Ride and the Diffin. Gets perfect guarded. I don't think I get any triggers. Yeah, no triggers here. Swing with this column. It is another 38. I believe Cat has to take this. Yep, and unfortunately, that was GG. He messed up pretty bad with the Favrneel restand, and then I look at the card I would have got next, and it's that Favrneel that I've been waiting for to get triple drive. Kind of get a little upset there, but what can you do? Sometimes it happens. You don't find the cards you want, but that was still a win for Gramgrace. The deck is incredibly good. Getting to that Persona Ride turn, if you can survive to your Persona Ride turn, the deck is so strong. Essentially having a plus 10k to the entire board, not just the front row, and having 4 attacks with Diffins providing you with an extra 10k to the middle column, meaning that your Vanguard could swing for 33k without a booster, which obviously you can't because it's using its ability, but still it's being such a huge number. And then if you have enough CB, the Diffins can gain plus 15k themselves, so they become 35k swingers without boosters. and then with boosters you're looking at upwards of like 43. But this was a good game regardless of how that misplay went. Sometimes it goes like that. I mean, we've played other games, other matches between these two decks, and we've seen Favrneel sometimes just absolutely obliterate Gramgrace by getting that OT early on. But, you know, I think I'm saying how I got the OT right away. But thank you all for watching. This has been Leo. I'll see you on the next time.
Right? It's just bound to happen.
All right.
But GG's.
GG's. You're bad.